I want to talk about research productivity and how to become a more productive PhD student, more productive professor. So there's this ideal PhD student, ideal professor that we have in our minds. Most of the time, it is the top producer in the arena. So they're able to write 8, 10, 13, 14, 15 pages a day, and they're able to analyze data and read a bunch of papers so that they are on top of the field. And as they're doing this, they are very supportive to everybody else, and they can do all sorts of extra things at the institution that you're actually at. And I'm going to tell you this, that this ideal doesn't exist. This ideal is a fiction that is developed within the academic arena, where there is this ideal person that is producing at a god-awful rate, and we all try to produce at that particular rate. I'm going to tell you this right now, is that what you see often is not really what's going on. There is a lot of differences that happen, and we compare ourselves against other people that don't quite fit who we are and what we're actually about. We're comparing often apples to oranges, and we think that these comparisons are supposed to make sense. And what will happen is that you yourself, and most PhD students, most professors will go through this. At some point in the journey, you'll be trying to work as hard as you possibly can. You think that if you get up earlier and stay up late, that is going to affect your research productivity, and it's going to make you a better and more productive individual. And the truth is that actually almost always does not result in what you're actually expecting. And the truth is what will happen is that you'll reach a moment and you give up. And you'll say, I can't possibly do this. So I study a lot of productivity, I study performance, and often I'm convinced at this point that we actually don't get a lot more out of each individual at any given time in terms of productivity. You can't put in more effort to get more out. Yes, there's some degree that does happen, but after a certain point, it doesn't make a difference. What matters is what is going on at the institution, what's going on at the field level, the industry level, what's going on with the tools that you have available, the competition, all these other factors that play a role in terms of how somebody becomes more productive or they increase their performance. And I'm convinced that we have internalized, most of us have internalized this belief that we can actually do better by putting in more work. And I'm not discounting that putting in more work doesn't lead to you being better. And I'm not discounting that there's compound effects and all of those kind of things. But what I'm pointing out is that there is a lot more to the game and a lot more to the system than meets the eye. And I think we need to start acknowledging those things. I think if it's you and you're thinking about productivity and how to become a more productive person, you need to acknowledge that. You need to know, how do you become a productive person? What do we actually know? It's actually quite simple, right? You eat healthy, you get appropriate sleep, you spend a little bit of time to yourself so that you can recuperate, do all of the basic functional things that we do as human beings, and you repeat those things every day. Now, that is not the message that is being sold, where you have to get up early, stay up late, and do that repeatedly. All of that almost always results in poor outcomes, where you're not going to feel good about yourself, culture's going to degrade around you. And so we need to take a step back and figure out, how do we harness, what do we do to ensure that this becomes a bigger part of what we actually do as a community, at your institution, at my institution. How do we ensure that? we try to be as supportive as we possibly can, and we try to smile and do all of the things that is good for human beings that we know of. And then we try to keep working at that. We try to be supportive and we try to be helpful to yourself and primarily to you. Make sure that you are getting support that you actually need, the rest and all of those things, but also try to be supportive to other people. And I think the more that we practice this, the more that we focus on, wait a minute, why am I internalizing all of this productivity culture? If you go on YouTube right now and you go on the internet and you type in PhD, the first thing that's going to pop up is how to become more productive. And I want you to think about, what does that mean? How are you internalizing that? What does that do for you as a person? It means collectively, almost everybody feels guilty. Almost everybody feels like they're not good enough. Almost everybody in the field is responding to these social institutions where we're saying, I'm not good enough. Why am I so problematic? All of that, that's how YouTube works, by the way. People search it, and then that's what gets served up because that's what people are searching. I want you to reverse that. I want you to take a step back and say, how can I be a better person inside? And then I'm going to walk forward being a better person inside, regardless of what's going on around me, and be okay inside. I think if you focus on that and you focus on what does it mean to be a good person inside, rather than what does it mean to be a productive person, what does it mean to be the top in your field, and you focus on how can I be a better, complete human being right here, rather than what does it mean for me to get ahead? That's a different question. And inevitably, you will all get to that moment. Either you're going to want to leave, or you're going to have to make that hard decision. Is this me? Hopefully, you will see that, hey, wait a minute, I can change this. I do not need to fall by those productivity norms, and I can do the work that I need to do. Remember, you're not going to get that much more productive. Human beings are only so productive. We can't extract productivity from individuals. We could do that in the short term, but we can't do that in the long term. And long-term strategy is far different than the short-term strategy. All right. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Do take care and have a wonderful day.